Trial of Johnny Somali, aka Ramzi Khalid Ismail, is tomorrow, Wednesday, the 13th, in Seoul, South Korea, and it is going to be wild. This is going to be the craziest day, the most unpredictable day of the entire trial series, which has really been going on for a half a year now, with the criminal saga stretching back into really October, November of last year. So we're gearing up for that. So today's episode, we're going to preview you in this Fast Facts version with the important things you need to know for trial tomorrow, and what we think is going to be wild and unpredictable, and the questions we have for that trial tomorrow as we watch on my channel, the play-by-play. My channel will be the only place that is giving live updates from the courtroom, giving you a play-by-play of what is happening and going down in the courtroom tomorrow at about 1:30. We're going to start 1:15, 1:30. Bangkok time. In Korea, that's going to start probably about, what is that, about 3:30, almost 4. So about that time tomorrow. So make sure you check that out on my channel and watch the live. Now let's get into what's going with the pre-trial update. So of course, we've got a nice PowerPoint for you here. So what's going to happen tomorrow? The trial is at 4 p.m. Korea time in the Western District Courthouse of Seoul. Now, I know for many of you, that's the middle of the night. If you're in the United States, if you're in, North America, South America, that may be really, really late at night for you. However, that's the time that fit best with the schedule of the court and also fit best with the witness. So we'll see what goes on there. Now, we have no idea how long this trial will go. It could go for 30 minutes. It could go for an hour, 2 hours. We have absolutely no idea. It will go until it's done. Now, we have a total of 8 criminal counts against Ramzi. We have no idea if more will be added in the future. As of date, that's what we have, 8. There could be more that are added in the future. There could be a separate case open for him for anything new. We don't know as of yet. Now, this is really going to come to a head at trial on August 13th. So tomorrow, everything is going to kind of come to a head. Now we have a new indictment we're going to deal with. So the new criminal charge, the new obstruction of business charge, that's the 4th charge. We're going to go through those in a second. And we're also going to have the witness testimony of Bong Bong, which has been confirmed as the witness that is going to be coming into trial tomorrow. She's been traveling the world. She finally ended up back in Seoul. That's not a coincidence. She hired a lawyer for this. So she is being prepared for this role tomorrow as a witness. And this is going to be the most dramatic court date, absolutely, without a doubt. So here's in case you need a refresher, because some of you may be new, some of you may have not been following it all the way through. Here are the current charges we have against Johnny Somali. We have 4 counts of obstruction of business, 2 counts of offending the Minor Offenses Act, and 2 deepfake counts. He has pled guilty to 2 of the obstruction counts and 2 of the Minor Offenses Act. He has pled not guilty to 1 of the obstruction and 2 of the deepfakes. We do not know. We'll figure out tomorrow how he pleads on the new obstruction and also who filed it. There's a lot of speculation that this was also Lotte World, or it was another bus incident or whatever. We don't know. We're going to figure that out. In the court tomorrow on my stream. We're going to figure that live together. So we're all going to get that information together live. Also, how he pleads this. Is he going to fight this out not guilty? Remember, anything he pleads not guilty to here, let's say he pleads not guilty to this, the 3rd obstruction count and 4th will have to be fought in September. So he's going to have to come back in September regardless. This is not going to be over this month. There's going to be other court dates. But if he pleads not guilty, that may just extend it out. It may go even longer. This case may stretch out even longer than we would expect. Currently, we do have a prediction after speaking with various folks on the SCT. We have a general prediction on when the sentencing day may be, if it goes how it goes. But right now, this is what we're looking at. Not guilty on 1 obstruction and 2 deepfakes, and guilty on the others. I would expect he might plead not guilty on this, but we will see, because he's already pled not guilty to 1, so why not try another? We will see what he does with that one. Now, what is he facing? What is he looking at? We've talked about the sentencing chart. Look at the bottom here. This is just the calculations we did based on the Korean sentencing guidelines, but he's facing anywhere from, at minimum, 9 months, which we think is highly unlikely, but of course it could happen, all the way up to 12 years as the aggravated maximum. So anywhere from 9 months to 12 years, a significant period of time. Of course, the judge does have discretion. The judge could decide to sentence him lightly, to sentence him under the guidelines. But this is what the guidelines would dictate if he is found guilty of all crimes, which is currently what we expect. We currently expect, even if he pleads not guilty here, that ultimately he'll be found guilty. So based on that, this is the prediction. Now, of course, if he's found not guilty on any counts, which would be very rare because Korean courts do not like split decisions, then we would obviously have to revise this chart, right? Obviously have to revise that down. So what's the new information we have? What do I have to tell you guys before tomorrow? Well, we have a new interpreter for Ramsey, and this is really good news. So while the old interpreter was really good at translating English to Korean, they were not that great at translating Korean to English. And this led to a significant problem last time with the date of the next trial, as well as the plea, whether he pled guilty or not guilty on the obstruction charge. And because of that, and because literally half of Korean media, that is Korean media that speaks Korean, did not actually understand it, we on the SCT had varying reports from different people about what he pled. Because of that, they may have issued a new interpreter, said, hey, we're going to get somebody who's going to be able to do this with a little higher level of competence. So that interpreter is there. Once again, they just interpret. They're not a lawyer. All they're supposed to do is translate from the judge to Ramsey and Ramsey to the judge. And mind you, Ramsey will not have much to say other than he is going to have to update his address. And we talked about this when talking about the Hank episode where Hank had said he's not living with me anymore. He hinted at that. He's got to update it. If he doesn't update it with the court, he's either lying, which is contempt of court, or ultimately all of that was a ruse and he's still with Hank all along. So we'll see what happens there. There's also the petition for severe punishment. Now, we have confirmed that both the petition for severe punishment, which was filed a while ago, we talked about that on the channel, which is pretty much a petition for maximum punishment, saying give this guy the max. And also the first deepfake, we confirmed that those are Youngman, the Korean streamer. He's the one who both filed the petition and the deepfake charge. So he's going to be also kind of subject to this, and there's going to be information that's coming in from him on that related to deepfake number one, as well as this petition. Now, we're not going to get into the details of that on this court date. We don't think this particular court date, but it's good that we've confirmed that information through our contacts, the SCT's contacts in Korea. Bong Bong has hired a lawyer to represent her as a victim, so we think she's highly invested and won't no-show. I think one of the big things for the Somali team was they were hoping that Bong Bong would no-show, that she'd disappear, she'd run away, but she's hired a lawyer. She's been traveling around the world, and all of a sudden she's streaming again in Hongdae. She's back in Seoul. All signs point to the fact that Bong Bong will indeed show up tomorrow. She's not going to run away. She's going to be there. So she's highly invested as a witness and not going to no-show. We do have questions, though, and these are very, very important questions. These are perhaps what makes tomorrow the most dramatic day. We have no idea how Bong Bong will do as a witness. Hopefully she comes in dressed, dressed respectfully, etc., with the court. And hopefully she stays calm under fire. But we don't know whether she will answer questions well or not. Like, I have no clue. We really don't know how that will go. We also, and this is a massive one, don't know how Ramsey's lawyer will question Bong Bong. So one of the things that happened is Somali's people, the quote-unquote SIA, or as we call them, the Somali Stupidity Agency, those guys actually came up with this dossier, this big packet of information and questions to give to Ramsey's lawyer to question Bong Bong. What we don't know is, which of these questions do they ask and not ask? Now, some of these questions they may bring up. Some of these questions they may not. Stuff like, do they push her about her streaming activities, or about laughing, or about other stuff? We don't know which questions they're going to ask or not. Ramsey's lawyer could cross-examine Bong Bong for 2 minutes or 1 minute, or could cross-examine her for 2 hours. That's what's going to be wild to know. So we could have a very long day if Ramsey's lawyer decides to really go in on Bong Bong, really go in on her past. We don't know that. And obviously there are pros and cons to that. If you go in on a person who is perceived as a victim, that is usually not taken well, right? If you usually go hard on somebody who is a victim and you're essentially bullying them on the stand, that may not be perceived well by the judge. That may not go down very well. It also may not look good for Ramsey, because the answers that Bong Bong gives may ultimately make Ramsey look bad. So we really don't know about that. And that's really the wildest thing that we're going to see tomorrow is the Bong Bong testimony. We also don't know who filed the new obstruction charge. Which is that? Is it Lotte World again? Is it a bus? Is it a subway? Is it somewhere else? We don't know. We're going to figure that out tomorrow. And I'm very excited for that, as well as figuring out how does Ramsey plead for the new charge. I tend to believe he might plead not guilty because he's already got to argue one, but so he might go not guilty. However, I will say this is a big moment for Ramsey. Today, or rather tomorrow, when it comes to tomorrow, is probably the last chance Ramsey has to just say, I plead guilty to everything. I'm so sorry. I throw myself at the mercy of the court. If he's going to do that, this is the day for him to do that. If he fails to do that tomorrow, he's pretty much going to have to fight all the way through. It's pretty much going to be what happens in September or October, etc. And it's not going to look good for him because they've got the evidence. They can prove it. And once again, the conviction rate in Korean courts is over 95%. And some of the top prosecutors have worked on his case, building up the case file. So they've got ample evidence. These crimes are very straightforward and they don't go into intent. One of the big things that Somali is banking on and what his whole, strategy has been is, oh, well, I didn't intend it this way, or it's just a prank, bro. But none of these crimes turn on intent. It doesn't matter whether you intended to or not. Did you disrupt the business? Yes, it's obstruction of business. Did you publish the deepfake, put it out there, show it on your stream? Yes, you're guilty. It doesn't matter what you intended. It doesn't matter if you intended it as a joke or whatever. That's all irrelevant. It doesn't matter if she did something bad too. Even if Bong Bong was a bad person, which I'm not saying she is, but even if she is, that doesn't make you innocent. And that's been a core of their defense, which is just simply not going to work. And they're going to see that. They're going to very much see that as the process goes on. So Ramsey has a chance to throw himself at the mercy of the court. And you know what? It could happen. We don't know. It could be a 360. We haven't really heard from Ramsey. So he could emerge from this cocoon and, try to be a different person. We don't know that yet. So we have to see that. We also don't know who shows up in the courtroom. I do imagine it'll be packed. Last time it was packed. I imagine it'll be packed again. We don't know who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. So we will see tomorrow who is indeed in that courtroom. The last thing, and going past this beautiful picture of Ramsey, is we do have some predictions. The next hearing will likely address any of the other not guilty pleas, the obstructions, and closing arguments unless new charges are added. And at this point, we do not have any information about new charges that are coming in imminently, meaning coming in within the next month. There may be other stuff that comes in down the line, particularly if he's sentenced. There may be something that comes in while he's sentenced. That's possible. However, we don't know anything that's going to come down the line just now, whether there's another obstruction charge or minor crimes act, etc. We have no idea about that. And the next time he comes out is really going to be his chance to speak. So he, at the next hearing, assuming everything goes as normal in September, which likely the next hearing will be in September, that's going to be Ramsey's chance to speak, his chance to open his mouth, give his side of the story, tell what he's going to tell. So he's got, less than 30 days or, 31, 32 days to figure out what his story is going to be, what his side is going to be. Is he going to be apologetic at all? Is he just going to just say, I didn't do anything, it's a prank? Is he going to say, F you to the court? We have no idea what he's going to do. He's really an unpredictable element at this point. And beyond that, if the next hearing, if there's nothing else added, there could be as little as 2 or 3 weeks until sentencing. So we could see a hearing in September, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, we could have sentencing, and this trial could be over in October. It is possible that the trial could be completely over and concluded in October, and we could see an end to the Ramsey Khalid Ismail saga. I want to know what you guys think about that. Would you be sad if it ends in October? Do you want it to go longer? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?